Hello, Steve, brother. Claudia Riecken from Brazil for you and your friends over there in US. I got your message about New York Times today. What a sad article. It was saying that about Brazilian elections, it was a sad moment to Brazil. And I'm just, for our conversation, let you and your friends know our point of view here. Brazil should be understood before judging or trying to understand elections and Bolsonaro with some phrases that I will give you 2 or 3 contexts that you're going to see what's really going on here. We are 200 million people that are diligent, paying bills, we are nice people, we are okay. This PT, the Workers' Party, is a socialist lefted criminal party. And we've been under attack, a kind of psychopath attack, not only with the biggest corruption scheme on earth to date. You can see this, please don't believe me, go on Netflix and see the documentary, it's very accurate. It's called Car Wash. The federal police in Brazil, there was a woman, policewoman, and she was starting the investigations that sent to jail bank owners, many politicians, many executives from public companies, all involved in a scheme which is disgusting, brother. So this woman looked through the window and saw a car wash in front of the police station, and she said, oh, let's call the operation Car Wash. That's why it's called Car Wash. And it was amazing. And the judge, Sergio Moro, was a tough guy, serious guy. We are talking about 10,000 leaves of investigation. We are talking about $2 billion of bribes. Well, all the universities, companies, banks, systems in the government, congressmen were involved in a big scheme against the people who pay the bill. So now 80% of the population is with Bolsonaro. Today we got in São Paulo 3,500,000 people in Avenida Paulista. But the TVs are not saying anything about it. It's disgusting how TV stations, radios, many newspapers, some are free. Most of all, we have internet as a real means of people who are not wanting to be in the system anymore. Besides, the system has been supporting dictatorships, real ones like Venezuela, like Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and China in a very bad way, like welcoming some of the worst dictators to date as well, as if they were just okay. But beside that, we've been sponsoring big and huge construction projects to those countries. Half of Africa, the dictators of socialism in Africa, Angola, Cuba, Venezuela, even in Argentina and Nicaragua and Bolivia and so many countries with this kind of new Russia or Soviet Union they were trying to do here through URSAL, Union of the Social Republics of South America. And, well, besides the corruption and this idealism which is becoming more pathological, the gender, it's not idealism, how to say that in English, the ideologia de gênero, ideology of gender, is something so far from pathological. And this is pathological in the US, in Canada, in Holland, in many parts of the world. Maybe it's the new world order that want everybody to be an empty shell so that we don't have a name, we don't have guts, we don't have individuality because, the fascists, how people call wrongly, are just big states and neutralized people, individuals that have no voice and have no identity. It's like, it's like taking away the self. Well, as a neuroscientist and an entrepreneur in Brazil, I have 3 companies here for 30 years. So I'm saying that out of an evaluation that can see the ideology of gender is everywhere. In US, you have some associations called boy lovers. So pedophilia was considered crime, then they're trying to make it be considered maybe a sickness, and now it's just a preference, boy lovers. In Holland, there is a political party whose only and unique goal is to make pedophilia legal. In Canada, there was the Sir. I watched the guy from a TV show in Argentina saying that the Sir was a Sir 56 years old. But as gender ideology says, you have not to respect biology, you know? Of course, if you want to fly from the 10th floor, you're going to fall down and die, because biology has something to do with reality and boundaries. But in a narcissistic society full of difficulties in dealing with healthy boundaries, you have no boundaries. Please don't put boundaries, because you are being aggressive with me if you put boundaries. So nobody have to be a man or a woman. This is aggressive. This is authoritarian. So this Sir, 56 years old, decided or touched himself, had this insight that he was a man of 56, but he felt as if like he was a 8-year-old girl. So he began to wear like a 8-year-old girl with a dress, and even go to the kindergarten to live this real thing that he feels like being, because it's authoritarian to say otherwise, regardless the danger of such a situation. Well, you don't have to be a neuroscientist to see that there is a little problem in this Sir, and he should be to treatment, not to kindergarten. So this party for the past 16 years have been in Brazil making a mess in everything. You just need to have some time, but if you were here for 30 days, you would know how huge and different and unique this country is, and how they try to put ideology of gender in schools and in universities and like everywhere else. If you would say, but if you're a fascist, so we were like a little bit low. No, I don't want to be authoritarian. I don't want to be a fascist. So everybody was just like a little bit like that. But there comes a moment where everybody gets exhausted of that. So when you have too much of gaslighting, when you have too much of manipulation, when you have too much of intimidation, so you shut up and pay the bill, you know, but just like narcissistic abuse and psychopath abuse, that's shit. You stay like a victim for a while, but then there comes a moment you say enough is enough, and you want to put boundaries, and you want to be, you know, from victim to victorious, or to survivor, and from survivor that we already are to victorious people, from surviving to coping, just like Pete Walker wanted, right? So what we are doing by supporting Bolsonaro, 80% of the population is very conscious. Little lines about Bolsonaro, no, he's not that bad guy, they're painting him. I saw today the interview or the information about New York Times. I'm afraid journalism is dead around the world, because they're doing this everywhere. Nobody gets the whole information. You take a line and let's go for a smear campaign, not knowing what we are talking about. This is so psychopathic, or psychopathic, or whatever, pathetic. So they put the line of the woman in the Congress that he said she was not beautiful enough to be raped. misogynist, horrible. Let's go back a little bit. Some months before, a criminal called Champignon kidnapped, tortured a couple, kidnapped, tortured, raped both of them, and killed them. They were camping in the beach nearby here, São Paulo. That was horrible. We were all shocked with that. So Bolsonaro, minutes before that, was discussing in the Congress or putting his proposal of law that the minority of age, the age to be charged for their own crimes, should not be 18 years old, which is the law nowadays, but should come to 16 years old, so that a young criminal like this man did, and he was 16, would respond for his crime. And she screamed out in the same saloon where they took the phrase that's in New York Times today. She screamed, "You are a raper. If I could, I would punch you." And he said, "And I would punch you back. And you don't deserve to be raped because you're ugly." Did you get the idea now? So the guy is defending women and a little bit of consequences, because women don't hate men. We hate impunity. So we want women and men, black and white, hetero and homosexual, poor and rich people, to work together to help ourselves and to help the world. And Bolsonaro means boundaries and limits in abusers. He's not a manipulator. He's putting boundaries and limits in manipulators. And they, all the way around, make a scene of that. And everybody buys it. We're like, what the heck? It's like, So today was a beautiful day whereby we have 3,500,000 people in the city here in São Paulo, but all over the country, we had millions of people, all in green and yellow, and singing and saying, "Hey, o capitão voltou, o capitão voltou." People are singing in the malls, but it's something different. Please don't buy it. It's a populist, the dumb people that don't know nothing. They're going to hell. No, we are going to light. We know what you're doing. Please don't underestimate survivors like ourselves. Don't underestimate the kind of big country that we are. And we are not going to become a Venezuela. We don't want you guys to be, "Oh, poor thing, Venezuela, they're so being killed. Oh, poor thing. Brazil, everybody's killed. They did it." No, they're not doing it here, because we are stepping our ground. And we have the right to do that, and we should do that. And we should help other people doing this. Your Vice President Pence was here some months ago, and he said, this is the hemisphere of freedom, and we want to help Brazil to keep being the hemisphere of freedom. So, brother, this is my message. We are happy and singing in the malls and feeling good, afraid of the electronic urns and the system of election, because I don't know if you know, but the management of the codes is in the hand of 3 foreigners, 2 Venezuelans and 1 Portuguese guy. Unfortunately, our main court is corrupted as well. So we are under attack. And nobody is believing this guy using only the Wi-Fi of the hospital. That's the whole grant he used for his campaign, is making it. Because he was stabbed with a knife in the middle of the campaign, by the way. Because these other parties, the left here, are murderers. Oh, you should know. I have many stories to show you here that we've been watching like, what the heck? And we are silently trying through elections to stop that. So using the Wi-Fi of the hospital, he made it. No public grants or money, no corruptions. Only the people wanting. We are doing it for free because we want it. And no, well, besides, maybe there are always crazy people somewhere. Some of the phrases he says, like homophobe, I'd better have this than that. Sometimes he's tough and sometimes he's bad communicator. He's a former captain from the army, so he's not a populist. He doesn't even know how to speak, to be manipulating people. He's funny. He's friends with his 4 sons, 3 of them in the Congress. He's friends and a good father to his young lady, his daughter, to his daughter-in-law as well. And he doesn't try to deceive us. And he's saying what the problems are, what the solutions are, and he is communicative, but so very attacked that many of us would respond worse for being attacked before anything and judged all without context that way. So I told you one of the stories. I hope that's enough for you to know that Brazil is breaking free. And you should say this is the happy day because the whole country was in the streets singing happily because we are stopping crime and we are stopping abuse and we are stopping socialism that's putting hands here. Do you know any socialist system that's happy and everybody is healthy? Let me know. Send me, pictures or movies with dates so that we can see. That's not the way we are going to go. We are going to keep being a democracy. We are going to keep being free, and we are going to keep being, friends and a brother hemisphere to you and my blood sister Patricia and you. Love you so much. Thank you. Hey, be with us in heart and God beyond everything, which is good, by the way, to be allowed to talk about God and to be hetero or white or black and to work and live and let live, not being divided and, this triangulation psychopaths and narcissists like to do. No, we want to work differently. So God might help us and you pray for us too, because they're trying to fraud this election and I hope they don't, because we are going to stop this country. The trucks are all going to stop it. If they fraud the election, this country will be stopped. And I know they're going to put the government down. It's serious what's going on here. It's not like a dream or naive people. Don't be naive, listening or reading to incomplete information like that one in the newspaper and say, oh, poor people. No, the other way around. Oh, brave people, they're making it.